Let's roll on 1 p.m. Eastern. Houston Texans 3-3, 1-2 on the road. The Carolina Panthers 0-6, 0-2 at home. We're at Bank of America Stadium, Charlotte, North Carolina. 78 Fahrenheit, sunny, 6 miles per hour. We get to see the number 1 overall pick versus the number 2 and number 3. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. I don't know how you don't just love the Texans. I mean, it's D'Amico, not in this spot, but in general with what D'Amico's doing over there. I love it. I love him, and I love the success that he's found over here for a franchise starved for some glory. This total opened up at 41.5. It's gone all the way up to 43.5. It's a big move, 2-point move towards the over. Take a look at the side here for this one. We're sitting here with the Texans -3 and -102. So this opened up -3 at -113. So we've had 11 cents of movement towards the Carolina Panthers. Go to the cash flow then for this spot. And we have 56% of the tickets and 87% of the cash on the Texans. For the total, we have 59% of tickets and 88% cash on the over. And we have a big move towards that over. Both teams coming off their bye week. These Texans were last seen in the impressive 2013 victory at home over the Saints. Stroud threw for 199 yards and 2 touchdowns. He threw his first pick, set the NFL record by throwing 191 passes without a pick to start his career. Second overall pick in the draft, has thrown a touchdown pass in 5 straight games. He's thrown 2 in 4 of his past 5. Dalton Schultz has 4 catches for 61 yards and a touchdown. That's 3 straight games with a touchdown for Dalton Schultz. That's the first time he's done that in his career. And then Tank Dell, he's been so good. He missed that game on Sunday, the Saints game, with a concussion. He's going to be back. He's second on the team with 324 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. He's 97 yards after catch. He's special. It's the Texans' running game that has hurt them. We thought Dameon Pierce, this was a perfect spot for him because now people would have to worry more about Stroud's arm, give him some space, but that's not happening. Texans ranked 24th in the NFL. They're averaging just 88.8 yards rushing a game. And Dameon Pierce, 34 yards on 13 carries against the Saints. He's averaging 2.9 yards a carry this season. He had 4.3 yards a carry as a rookie. Will Anderson looks very good. It was a nice trade up. He started every game this year. He has 24 tackles, 2 for losses, a sack, and 8 quarterback hits. And as I said, Tank Dell and Eric Murray will both are expected both to be back here. Panthers, NFL's only winless team, coming off their bye week. They were last seen a 42-21 loss at the Dolphins that saw them go up 14-0 before the Dolphins stormed back with 42 straight points. Dolphins were 5 for 5 in the red zone. Get used to that. Panthers are 30th in the league, allowing touchdowns on 75% of red zone trips. Frank Reich decided last week to give up play calling duties to offensive coordinator Thomas Brown. Panthers are 23rd overall in offense, 22nd in scoring. Bryce Young's starting to look a little better. I thought he looked better against the Dolphins, 23-38 for 217 yards and a touchdown. It's this offensive line. It just doesn't protect him. He's running for his life. The Panthers have allowed 19 sacks this year. That's tied for 5th in the league. But the 241 yards lost on sacks is the most in the league. But they finally got some good injury news. Austin Corbett is supposed to make his season debut. He hasn't played since tearing his ACL in the final game of the 2022 season. So that will help them. Adam Thielen's been very, very good, man. Is he been good? He's caught at least 11 passes in 3 of their last 4 games. Touchdowns in 4 of their past 5. It's amazing. In the past 5 games, he's caught for 497 yards and 4 touchdowns. But DJ Shark, Jonathan Mingle, Terrace Marshall, somebody's got to step up. And Hayden Hurst is nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. A complete non-factor. So Laviska Shenault has an ankle injury. He's going to be out several weeks. And this linebacking crew, Yetur Gross-Matos, hamstring injury, Frankie Louvu with a hip injury. They hope to get J.C. Horn back, but this injury report for the Carolina Panthers is horrific. So, Jeremy Chin, he's out with the quad injury. Von Bell, their strong safety, questionable. Need him badly. Xavier Woods, questionable. This is just it's a mess here. It's a real problem. And we watched Shaq Thompson get hurt in the beginning of the year, their defensive captain. Take it away for us here, Troy. We have the Panthers at home to the Texans.
I don't know. To something about this line opening at 3 smelled a little bit short for some reason. It just feels fishy. I'm not sure what it's telling me at that. I just have to dig into that a little bit more. An 0-6 team versus this Texans team who's going to be very public. Maybe they just opened it at 3, knowing it would get bet up to the 3. I'm not sure. But yeah, as we know, the Panthers are bad, but are they 0-17 bad? People think this is the worst team in the league, but PFF actually has them rated above the Giants, despite the 0-6 record. And at home this season, they lost by 1 possession to both the Vikings and the Saints. And both of those spots were winnable games. Bryce Young has not been, like you said, he might have had his best game so far as a Panther, but he's not getting help anywhere else, in my opinion. And he's significantly worse under pressure. But can the Texans apply pressure? Because that's one spot where they really don't excel. 27th in the NFL in terms of pass rush per PFF, only 9 sacks on the season. That's the only team in the NFL in single-digit sacks. And the Texans, I mean, would you ever expect laying 3 points on the road with the Texans when this season started? I just couldn't imagine that. CJ Stroud, incredible as hell, but I think the chickens are going to come home to roost eventually. Kept clean. This guy's a stud. PFF got him with a 90 rating, 65% completion. Under pressure now, with another week's of data. I mean, he's actually closer than I thought. I might not have stumbled upon him thinking he was better, but he drops down to 37 overall with his second worst in the NFL, next to Gardner Minshew, and a 45% completion rate. And he has the worst bad throw percentage in the NFL. And on the other side, Bryce Young, he's second worst in the NFL. Ultimately, I'm not ready to lay points on the road with the Texans, but am I ready to back the Panthers? I don't think I can, just on coaching edge alone. Like you said, I just have a lot of faith in this coaching staff, and they're outclassed starting at the top, and that's where the coaches put in the work. So I'm off the spot.
Big O says, what is your expectation for Stroud in this game? I mean, I think the key is how bad the Panthers are in the red zone defensively. So I'm not saying that Stroud is going to put up 300 yards, but I do think that he's got touchdown passes. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for them. What's your expectation for Stroud in this road start off a bye?
Like I said, I think eventually something. I mean, it's just been going too smooth for him, and some of these metrics that you look at, they just suggest that he's going to hit a brick wall soon. What better would the NFL script be than versus Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers, the other 0-6?
Yeah, this. The public's going to be all over Houston here. I think it's very dangerous to do that. Very, very.
I was hoping they would get to a 3.5, and I would probably consider backing the Panthers, but yeah, okay, just forget I ever said that. We can move.
And interesting point by Birdie says, remember when the Eagles sucked, Sirianni realized he should not be calling the plays, so he let his young OC, who was extremely talented, call the plays. Now letting his young, talented OC call the plays here. Yeah, I think it's a good move by Frank Reich. And I don't dislike Frank Reich. I don't think Frank Reich is a bad coach. I believe in him.